Well, hello there, my beautiful friends. Today I am bringing you another swatch party video. Today we are going to be swatching every single eyeshadow that I own from Menagerie Cosmetics, an absolutely amazing indie brand that not enough people speak about. So if you are interested in seeing these shadows swatched and up close and personal, then go ahead and keep on watching and let's jump right on in. So just for a little bit of background information on Menagerie Cosmetics before we get started, they are 100% cruelty-free, vegan, talc-free, and they're made in the US. What's better than that? All of their single eyeshadows are vegan, magnetic, and contain approximately 2 grams of product, and most of them are $5, which I have to say is an amazing price, especially with the quality that you're getting from Menagerie Cosmetics. I personally love everything I've tried from them, but let's go ahead and get into these swatches and see what they're all about. So the first eyeshadow that I have to show you guys today is the shade Canary. Now this is an absolutely stunning eyeshadow. This is described as a beautiful pink shifting yellow foiled metallic that you can pop in the inner corner of your eye for a highlight. You can use it as a regular highlight on your cheeks. You can use it all over the lid. You can do basically whatever the heck you want to do with it. This is such a unique and interesting shade, and I haven't personally found anything like it anywhere other than one particular shade out of the Nomad Cosmetics Harajuku palette. But honestly, I think I like this shade a little bit more just because the yellow-based duochrome that they have going on here is a little bit stronger. As you can see, this guy is extremely pigmented. All of their eyeshadows are super pigmented. They just apply so beautifully to the skin. You don't have to really fuss with them. You don't have to foil them if you don't want to, although if you do use a foiling liquid of any kind, a setting spray, whatever it may be, their shadows become so incredibly shiny, it's kind of insane. This is such an interesting shadow because it's yellow, kind of goldy based, but it has that beautiful pink shift to it, and you honestly can really only see the true beauty of this shadow in person. So if you are into these types of shades, I highly suggest picking up Canary. It is absolutely stunning and super unique. Next up, we have another metallic shade. This is the shade Firefly, and this is described as a highly foiled bright yellow gold metallic. This is basically Fenty's trophy wife on steroids. Am I allowed to say that? Probably not, but you get what I'm saying. It's a very intense, ultra foiled true yellow gold. Firefly does have less shimmers running throughout it than some of these other metallics that I'm going to show you here today, but it is so incredibly foiled and buttery and smooth. Oh my god, it is such an incredible formula that just is so easy to work with. I cannot stress that enough. I think these eyeshadows are perfect for you if you're a beginner, if you're experienced and advanced in the makeup world, because they're so easy to use and you don't have to use a lot of product. These build up so nicely on their own and you don't have to work with them or fuss with them. So what more could we ask for in eyeshadow? If you, my dear friend, are a lover of gold eyeshadow, Firefly is definitely one to try out. Next up, we have probably my favorite shade out of all of the shades that I own from Menagerie. This is the shade Lucky. Lucky is described as a gold, pearl, and pink duochromatic shade. On their website, they state that they wanted to create a glossy, luminous eyeshadow, and they wanted something that had the pearl pinky duochrome effect to it, but they wanted it to be more of a translucent base and to have a super reflective pink flip to it. This also has a little bit of white gold shimmer running throughout it. This is such a unique eyeshadow. It is so incredibly beautiful. It's a little bit peachy, it's a little bit golden, it's a little bit pink. There's a lot going on here, and it is ultra shimmery. It's my type of eyeshadow. As you can see, look how reflective and almost iridescent this eyeshadow is without being too much. It's just such a beautiful creamsicle-y type of eyeshadow that has so many reflective different colors running throughout it. It is absolutely beautiful. Obviously, this guy's meant for the eyes, but I personally think it would be an absolutely beautiful blush topper, or if you have super deep, dark, chocolatey skin, this would be so incredibly beautiful on you as a highlight. I'd like to know if anyone's personally used this as a highlighter before, because I think this would be so incredibly beautiful on people with darker skin tones. It's such a unique eyeshadow, and it's such a unique formula. I'm absolutely in love with it, and like I said, this is probably my favorite out of the entire bunch. The only shade that really rivals Lucky for my #1 top favorite Menagerie Cosmetics eyeshadow is obviously this guy right here, Lily, which is a foiled true pink with golden shimmers running throughout it. This is such a freaking beautiful pink eyeshadow. I own 2 pans of this because I use it so much and because I love it so much. This is such a buttery and creamy and soft formula. It is so incredibly foiled. You get a little hint of the kind of golden sheen that's kind of hiding in the background behind all of that hot pink goodness that you see here. There's just a touch of pink shimmer running throughout it too. Lily has a little bit of pearlescence kind of hiding in the background as well. I've worn this guy with a bunch of different shadows, and no matter what eyeshadow I'm wearing on my lid, if I add a little bit of Lily on top of it, Lily will steal the show. It is so incredibly foiled. It kind of blows a bunch of other shadows out of the water. But this is such a beautiful color. As you can see, it's that kind of true cool toned pink, but it's not super hot and intense. And I think because it has that golden shimmer and that pearlescence to it, it doesn't make it overly hot Malibu Barbie pink, if you know what I'm saying. It's still really wearable for being a hot pink, if those two things even go together, wearable and hot pink. I don't even know. I think out of all the Menagerie Cosmetics eyeshadows that I own, I think that Lily is probably the most pigmented. You need literally 1 layer of this guy on your eyes and you are good to go. You don't have to work with it very much, you don't have to fuss with it too much, and once you foil this guy, it is so incredibly intense. If you are a lover of pink, this is a must-have. Like, I don't say that very often, but Lily is most definitely a must-have. It's just such a beautiful formula, such a beautiful mashup of colors. Honestly, this shade kind of reminds me of Lucky in the sense where it has all these beautiful different undertones to it, a little bit of gold, a little bit of pearlescence, so it just makes it a really unique looking eyeshadow that just behaves so well and it's so user-friendly. I cannot recommend this guy enough. This next beauty here is Starling, and this is described as a pink shifting lavender duochromatic metallic. Now, this guy is absolutely stunning. It's not quite as pigmented as Lily or as Lucky, but it's definitely still very, very pigmented, let me tell you. Now, it's interesting that they describe this as a pink shifting lavender duochrome because you definitely get a little bit of that pink essence, but there is a bit of a cool toned quality to this shadow, especially in the underlying notes, I suppose, of the eyeshadow itself. It has a little bit of like a heather lavender kind of grayish cool tone thing going on while still having a pink shift, which is interesting because I feel like most kind of purpley pink duochromatic shades are a little bit warmer, and this guy definitely has a bit more of a cool toned base. The purple base of this eyeshadow just in general is a little bit deeper than you would typically see with a pink purple duochrome. It's a really interesting and unique shade, and I haven't really been able to find a whole lot like it. It has the same exact formula as the other shades that I've shown you thus far. Super buttery and creamy and easy to use. These guys just knocked it out of the park and made a really interesting and unique purple shade, which is kind of hard to do nowadays. Nonetheless, it's a gorgeous shadow, and you already know how much I love this. You know how much I love purple. Moving right along, we have the shade Wolfling. No, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. My eyeshadow pan is absolutely hideous because I dropped it on the freaking ground legitimately right as I was opening this eyeshadow from the little mailer it came in. I dropped it on the ground and it shattered and I was heartbroken. I think I cried myself to sleep that night, but nonetheless, this is a beautiful eyeshadow. It's a rose taupe duochromatic metallic, but you have a little bit of purple in there as well as a little bit of mauve. It's super interesting, and I haven't seen that many shades like this. The only shade that really comes to mind is a particular shade that I cannot remember the name of from Pat McGrath's Mothership 3. And Pat McGrath's very expensive, but this is a very comparable shade to one of the beautiful duochromes in there. This is such a shiny and reflective shade. It has the same formula as all the other metallics. This guy has almost like a red and orange shimmer running throughout it. I'm not really sure how to describe it. It's super, super unique, and it's a really interesting shade. This would be beautiful all over the lid as something really smoky and sensual, if you will. This is one of those shadows that you can toss all over the lid and call it a day. If you use this guy in the crease, you can shear it out a little bit to make it a little bit more satiny, but it is pretty darn foiled. It's absolutely beautiful nonetheless. Next up, we have the shade Bestie, which might look similar in the pan, but there are some subtle differences. This is described as a pinky violet mauve foiled metallic. The difference between Bestie and Wolfling is that Wolfling has a little bit more of a rusty element to it. It's a little bit more orangey and kind of reddish and rusty toned, even though it is that beautiful rose taupe. There's a bit of orange kind of thrown in there. Versus Bestie, which as you can see here has much more violet and almost a little bit more pink kind of running through the background. Bestie also has some pearlescent, almost icy shimmers running throughout it, which make it so incredibly reflective. Oh my god, all of their eyeshadows are so freaking foiled. I don't really know how they do it. Honestly, they're probably the most foiled eyeshadows just for basic standard metallics that I have in my entire collection. They're beautiful, and as you can see, the swatch is absolutely stunning. This guy is super pigmented, super buttery, super smooth, and this is a really interesting shade. I think this shade is perfect for anybody who likes rose tones or mauves or even pink tones. This is the most beautiful, deeper foiled kind of rosy pink. I absolutely love it. Second to last here, we have Pack Leader, which is a really cute name, but this is described as a pink shifting coral duochromatic metallic. Now, this guy is definitely the least metallic and the least foiled out of all of the shades that I've shown you so far, but it's still really, really foiled. It's just not as shimmery and as reflective as some of the others, and I think that's because it's a deeper toned eyeshadow. You get a little bit of that coral essence to it, and you get a little bit of peach as well, and even just a hair of pearl essence, but it's not so incredibly foiled like the rest of them were. I still think it's a beautiful shadow and nonetheless, and because this shade is a pink coral duochrome, you do get a little bit of an orange hint to it as well. It's super, super beautiful, especially paired with the matte shadow that I'm about to show you, the only matte shadow that I have from Menagerie. Pack Leader and that shadow were basically made for each other. This is such a beautiful coral eyeshadow if you are into corals, so this is definitely one to try. I used to be obsessed with corals, and so I was absolutely obsessed with this shade. It's a fairly unique eyeshadow too. It's kind of hard to find corals that are super, super metallic because most of them are pretty gosh darn dull. This guy is not dull at all. Although it's not nearly as bright as some of the others that I've shown, it is still beautiful nonetheless. And finally, we have the only matte shade that I own from Menagerie Cosmetics. I don't know how I only own one matte shade from them, but it is such a beautiful matte that I'm not necessarily unhappy about it. But this is described as a bright coral peach, and as you can see, if you pair up Pack Leader and Wisteria together, you are set. You're solid. You don't have to bring in any other shadows because they create such a beautiful and easy and cohesive look. I think they were legitimately made for each other. This is such a pigmented and intense and easy to blend eyeshadow, especially for being a pastel kind of corally matte shade. It is so incredibly pigmented. You do not have to work hard to build this guy up. You can basically dip your brush in and you have full pigmentation. You don't have to worry about it skipping or getting chalky or not blending because this blends absolutely wonderfully. It blends like a freaking dream. I honestly don't know how they do it, but I'm not complaining. Alright friends, those are all of the Menagerie Cosmetics eyeshadows that I own. I wish I owned more. I actually placed an order today to order more because I realized I only have 9 shadows and there's something wrong with that picture. Like, I need to stock up and get more and try more from them because they are absolutely fantastic. They have great prices and I absolutely love their formulas. Clearly, their formulas are fantastic. How many times can I freaking say that? But they truly are. So I really hope that you enjoyed seeing these shadows today, and let me know in the comments what some of your favorite Menagerie Cosmetics shadows are. If you've tried any of their palettes, if you've tried, certain shades that you think I would like, let me know down below because I'm very, very interested. But if you are not already subscribed and you enjoy swatch party videos, we do them all the time over here on my channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful, if you just like watching swatch videos, go ahead and give me a big old thumbs up. I appreciate it so, so much. It helps out minuscule, microscopic YouTubers such as myself, so if you choose to do so, then I greatly appreciate you. But with that being said, I hope you are having an absolutely amazing and beautiful day wherever you are, and thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope to see you next time. Bye!